Hey, y'all, Jeremy James and
Lahannah Smith.
it gets longer every time. We're here with Barstools and Bourbon, and you have a Barstools and Bourbon exclusive. We've got Dr. Heist here, bootlegger, rock star, TED talker, everything you can possibly even imagine. And he's going to teach us a tasting technique for bourbon called the Kentucky Chew. So I'm just going to turn it over to you, Pat, and or should I call you Dr. Heist? What are we working with?
Pat's good.
All right, we get you a little mortar board or whatever, and So I'm going to turn it over to you, and I guess we'll just interrupt with any questions that we have as we go along.
Okay. Well, maybe first let's ask Lahannah, where are we today?
We are. What's this place called?
Oh,
we are at Wilderness Trail Distillery in Danville, Kentucky.
Yep.
Now this room is pretty swanky. I mean, what do you guys got? Is this like your private office in here? Is this what?
No. My office is littered with papers laying everywhere. But and some of those are actually work papers. So this is our barrel tasting room. So
Nice.
People, stores, and different customers that come in to do the barrel picks. This is the room where we, lay out the samples and they pick what barrel they want.
Nice. Well, and with that, how do you decide? I mean, do they give you a profile that they're looking for before they come in, or do you just do a wide range of profiles?
It just depends on who's coming in to do the pick. And we have different types of requests.
Right.
These days, we're doing mostly our high rye bourbon as well as our rye whiskey picks because we're running a little low on our age stocks of our wheated.
Don't say that out loud.
Well, I was just gonna
We're
say.
never going to find that stuff again because now everybody just ran the liquor barn and just bought out their whole stock.
Well, the
Great.
thing is you can readily find our wheated bourbon on the shelves, but the barrel picks, if you see a wheated barrel pick, and myself included, if I see a wheated barrel pick, I'm grabbing them.
Grabbing it. Nice.
Yeah. Then hoarding to some level.
Yeah, I got mine when I did my bourbon steward. See my rank?
Nice.
See my rank? I got my bourbon, my barrel pick when I did that. We had
wow.
3 to choose from. I've been wearing this around all the time.
Okay.
I got people saluting me and stuff.
Oh,
It's
nice.
really...
I noticed,
No, you're right. Do
I
not.
noticed Lahannah doesn't have one of those.
No, she doesn't.
I mean,
Okay, well, Lahannah just opened a new restaurant and couldn't take off a Saturday to do the class, but I'm signed up for the November 7th class.
okay, November 7th. You heard it right
November
here.
7th,
Yep.
you heard it here
If
first.
she doesn't show up the next week with her rank,
The class you did, Macaulay immediately texted me. He's like, "Are you actually going to show up for the next one?" Yes, it's the restaurant world.
I also don't have one of those pins, but I teach the class.
You're a...
I'm off the hook.
I feel like you're
I'm sorry. You and Shane are principals at the distillery. I think that qualifies you just fine. I don't own a place on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, so I'm...
But you have a pin, Jeremy.
I do. I have a pin.
That's right.
I have a pin. All right. Well, Pat.
Okay, yeah, let's get on to talking about the Kentucky Chew. So, anytime that I talk about a topic, a lot of times I'm going to go back and check definitions first. What is if you go out and do a Google search on the definition of a Kentucky Chew, where did the name come from? What does it mean? Who's responsible for it? Who coined the phrase? And what I found is that most authorities on bourbon say that Booker No is the one. Booker No from Jim Beam. He's the one that created the signature series, all the different, Knob Creek, Bookers, and Bakers, and all these different top end Jim Beam products. So first of all, definitely want to give credit where credit's due. So Booker No, his son currently is the master distiller, Fred No.
Right.
So there's videos and different things on the Kentucky Chew, but most people will point it back to Booker No. So getting to the Kentucky Chew and what I know about it, it's a 4-step process. So you start by actually it'd be a 5-step process, counting actually pouring the liquor.
That's important. Seems to be.
So starting with a glass that's already got something in it, and that's something else I want to mention. My 2 apprentices sitting here have what are the standard Glencairn glasses, and this is probably the most popular of all of the tasting glasses. If you go to competitions, different things, this is what you'll see. Now, to separate my identity at more of an expert level, I have outfitted myself with what is known as the Kentucky Distillers Association tasting glass. It's got a little bit wider of a rim on it. I prefer this one. I would have actually got you guys a couple of these, but this was the only one I had laying on my desk. So I do feel like we're all equal in this world of bourbon.
No, brilliant. It's different.
That's I love your humility, but yeah.
Well, okay, I agree. But anyhow, this glass, the reason I got it, number one, we sell it in our gift shop as well as the Glencairn glasses. But I like this one for a couple reasons. Again, I know we're talking about Kentucky Chew here, but one of the reasons I like this larger mouth glass is if I choose to put ice cube in there, I'm not restricted by that's a pretty small orifice to be jamming in ice cube. So this one has that little bit.
I'm laughing too, Jeremy.
Oh
no, keep going.
See,
We've been drinking for
one off
hours.
word. So anyhow, opening of the glass will allow for a ice cube. So anyhow, another reason gets back to, so the 4 steps of the Kentucky Chew, we've got the observation of the whiskey in the glass. You know, what's the color looking like? Hopefully we've got a nice amber hue to it, nice color, good clarity. Also, if you give that a little spin in your glass, you'll notice kind of some different things dripping down. Those are called the legs of the, now, I'm not going to get a bunch of laughter if I just said legs.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You might get some.
Promise.
I mean, it depends on how you use it, but yeah, you might. We stopped maturing at 13. You know how it is.
Yeah, I wasn't unsure there. But anyhow, the legs are, different proofs will affect the legs, the oil content of it, but I'm seeing some very nice, clear, some legs dripping down off the glass there. So the observation, that's the first part of it. The second part will be the nose. So, we kind of go in, and a couple things that were explained by the, Fred, No, as well as what Booker used to say, is that whenever you nose it, you want to do it with your mouth open. And that's kind of brings me to the other point about this larger opening on the glass here, is you can actually kind of get your mouth in there as well as your nose. So they say that you should do, when you're nosing it, you should do it with your mouth open. So you can kind of get some of those alcohol vapors into your mouth and sort of start setting your palate for that taste. Like I said, I can kind of get my mouth in there. So I actually like to breathe a little bit through my nose as well as through my mouth to kind of get those flavors starting to tickle my senses there. So the next part of it would be going in for a sip. So we want to go in, we want to taste it, and then we're going to want to kind of swirl it around our mouth, and that's where the Kentucky Chew part comes from. It's sort of like we're not necessarily swishing it around. You want to create a bunch of bubbles, but you just want to move it around your mouth, get it on your tongue, in your mouth, and see what kind of flavors you got. And another important part about this, about the tasting of it, is and hold on, you know what? I think I'm going to have to refer to my notes on this. I actually took a couple notes on the process here, and there was something I was going to. Oh yeah. The part relative to tasting it. Also, typically you're going to smack your lips when you do this because you kind of want to get a little bit of oxygen in there and sort of. So that's another part. So how
much when you take it into your mouth on first sip? How much are you taking in? Usually I do a full, not like a full mouthful because that'd be a shot and that'd be kind of tough.
Yeah, I mean, initially, if I'm just going in for an evaluation, if I'm sitting up at Copper and Oaks or somewhere else, I'm going to probably want to do a little more of an intensive gulp than what I do right here. But for evaluation purposes, not a whole lot, maybe,
almost like an eyedropper amount?
Probably, enough to swish around,
Okay.
So let's kind of go in here for a little super-roo. Move it around the mouth. I know. Gotta smack them lips a little bit.
Less sound effects, maybe.
Well, that's just the way I smack my lips, Different people do it different ways. So yeah, you can kind of get the, through what we smelled through our nose to what we got in our mouths. Now the fourth part of the Kentucky Chew is the finish on it. So, what is it? How does it go down? And this kind of gets into what we referred to as the Kentucky Hug.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how does it hit you going down, which might be an episode for another day. But essentially, that is the Kentucky Chew.
I like it. Well, when you said to bring your mouth over the glass as well, that really helped because it took some of that ethanol out for me, and I was able to actually start pulling like almost green apples from this on the nose, which I've never pulled before on the nose, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. A lot of people, I know when I first had my, I can't remember the first time I ever had bourbon, but it probably was in the form of a shot. So I was taking a shot, headshot or whatever, straight down the hatch, and this actually allows you to thoroughly enjoy and get good flavor from the bourbon without just simply shooting it down. I mean, there's a lot of different bourbons out there, and they're really worthy of slowly enjoying. So, that's kind of one of the things about the Kentucky Chew that's one of the reasons why it was originated by Booker, is to actually give people more of a protocol for getting a good taste of whiskey.
Well, I noticed you did it because you were on our inaugural show back with the Duke John Wayne Founding Reserve bottle, and I noticed you did it on that review and smacked your lips with it, and I was like, okay, all right, so he's doing something different than what I usually do. Now, when you smack your lips, is that pulling in the air, almost like aerating it when you swirl it in your glass then?
I think it's a couple things. You're bringing a little bit of air in. You're kind of reopening that connection between your nasal passage and your mouth, and starting to let, a lot of when you taste things, it's through your nose as well as your mouth. So, that's kind of one of the reasons, but it also kind of distributes the alcohol or the product around kind of evenly about your mouth, and you start to kind of the same effect you get when you add water to it. It sort of dilutes it because you're salivating if it's delicious whiskey like what we're tasting here. Definitely got my juices flowing here. Nobody gonna laugh over that one.
I was seriously trying to be mature over here.
Okay.
Never happened.
It's hard for you.
It's so hard for me.
We're a grown-ups program.
Well, that's very unfortunate. Now, there was something else I was going to mention. I taste a lot of whiskey, as you might imagine. A lot of people here whose job it is to ensure quality. We're doing a lot of this. Now, a lot of times we're going to spit it out to make sure that. So, in the case of if it's your day job to be, drinking whiskey, as it is mine a lot of times, I kind of am careful about getting it on my teeth.
Right.
I think you can accommodate the Kentucky Chew without bringing a lot of the alcohol to the front. Now, you're going to get it on your teeth, but if you know anyone who's been in the tasting industry for a long time, a lot of times their teeth are decayed. Because of, especially if you look at the bottom teeth, it's because alcohol simply takes away your enamel.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, when I do the Kentucky Chew, I'm not just gonna, I'm
not
cognizant of that. Yeah. Now I'm maybe the only one who's even thinking of that, but it's just another consideration that I personally, whenever I do it.
I like it. I don't know about y'all, but that green apple is standing out to me on the nose on this one.
Yeah, this is our single barrel bottle in bond wheated bourbon. Based on the information on the front of this bottle, this one would have been about 5.5 years old whenever it was bottled. So those of you, a lot of people call this our yellow label. Those of you on Facebook Live, our yellow label. So, just some more information there.
I like it.
So that's pretty much what I know about the Kentucky Chew.
Good deal. So what do you guys got going on out here lately? You just having 7th birthday, right?
Yeah, we're getting ready to have 7-year-old whiskey. So next month, getting ready to be next month right now, October, we'll be in our oldest barrels will turn 7 years old.
Nice.
We've always got construction going on out here. Currently, we're finishing up our largest warehouse to date, which is a 24,000 barrel house. And then we've got plans across the street to build 11 more of those over the next 3.5, 4 years.
You guys are what, number 14 ranked largest bourbon distiller?
According to our math.
Number 14. I'll tell you what, I remember I remember that little warehouse down off 4th Street.
Yeah, we used to be number 0.
Yeah, so less than it was pretty small. I remember a friend of mine took me down. And he was like, "Hey, you need to come down and see this new distillery." And he pulled up, and I'm like, "You gotta be joking! I'm gonna go in here and get stabbed." and now to drive out here on Lebanon Road in Danville, you guys are full members of the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Trail or Bourbon Trail.
Yeah, Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Get your passport stamped if you're coming through. Get your passport
Come on
stamped.
by and see us.
So, Lahannah, you got any questions? You've been kind of quiet for once.
I know.
Good night. I don't know what's going on over there. Just took a breath away, I guess.
Something like that. No, you pretty much covered it all.
Good deal. Well, Pat, I want to thank you very much. I don't know if anybody's there. I know a couple were kind of waiting on this show today, so I want to thank you for tuning in live. For the rest of you, thank you very much for checking us out. Remember, check us out, Lahannah, Jeremy, and Dr. Pat Heist, Barstools and Bourbon. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.